Bell, the Kiwi. He's been a hard charger in this one, but keeping cool in the Darwin heat is imperative today.
I have a cool suit, which means I've got a vest which is running iced water through the vest, and if I didn't have that, I think I'd be really struggling, and I've got iced water. So I think you need to do things in the car to keep your concentration up, because once you start to deteriorate, not just in terms of lap times, but it becomes quite dangerous with other competitors.
That's something Paul Radicic, who joins us in commentary, has been keeping a close eye on. Jim Richards has jumped the start here in the OM's Porsche. Now he's stopped, obviously realising the mistake, and has been swamped off the line by Tim Lay. Kevin Bell coming through as well. Paul Pedersen is now starting to put some pressure on the OM's Porsche. Bell caught wide. Richards back in second spot. Gee, Paul Radicic, I'm going to be interested to see what the officials have to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, Jim, obviously his foot slipped off the clutch or something heavy there because he moved far too much, but was able to stop it before the light went green. But of course, it's deemed if you move at all as a jump start, so it'll be interesting to see what penalty is applied.
Paul Pedersen arguing with Kevin Bell. Bell seemed to run a little bit wide there on cold tyres. It was the smallest window of opportunity, and Pedersen was through. Now Bell trying to wrestle that spot away. So there are two good battles going on very early. One for the top spot and one for third. Richards in a very different position to what we've been used to seeing him at this round. He's chasing Tim Lay.
Jim will be driving around thinking, I wonder what they're going to throw at me. But, you know, he'll just work away at him, and I would think a number of laps we'll see him pop into the front.
Well, Tim is a hard charger. He hails from Orange in Western New South Wales. Kevin Bell gets a great exit, obviously, off turn 10 and fires along the front straight to get by Paul Pedersen. Tim Lay gets defensive and covers the line, keeps the master behind him.
Yeah, Tim's doing an awesome job there.
Oh! Now, that we heard the car going around, it was obviously Peter Fitzgerald, and some dramas because Jeff Morgan was involved in the contact there. And with that damage to the front left, he won't be going too much further.
No, it's done quite a bit of damage, as you say, Rusty, to that left front, so that'll be parked there for the rest of the day.
Here's Tim Lay.
Just saying before, Tim, you know, just keeping the racing line blocked, and it's going to make it hard for Jim to get past.
You could see he remained mid-track. Tim was third fastest in practice, second quickest in qualifying, a 1:10.73. This is a replay of the start from Kevin Bell. You can see Richards moving there while the red lights are on. He stops to correct it.
In a drive-through penalty. Stop, go, drive through.
Well, that is the radio from pit lane. It sounds as though Jim Richards has been given a drive-through penalty. We get another look at the incident between Morgan
60K.
and Peter Fitzgerald. Yeah, now here comes Jim Richards, so that will really take him right out of the equation here, Paul.
60K, Jim.
It sure will. You know, there was no advantage gained by Jim. He had actually stopped by the time, but when the lights went green, he was stopped. But, you know, the rules state that if you move at all before the red lights are on, it is deemed as a jump start.
Well, it will be enormously difficult for him to come back from this, but we've seen him stage some great fights before, and he worked his way right up the order at Winton to secure some valuable points and hang on to that championship lead. Let's go to the pits, though, and try and maybe get a clearer picture of what happened.
Well, Carl, that was a rarity to see Jimmy jump the start like that. Did he have an explanation?
Yeah, he just said his foot was in an uncomfortable position, just tried to wobble it down to be on the ball of his foot and just jump forward. So he sort of let Lay go, but obviously that wasn't good enough for the officials. He's had to stop go, unfortunately.
Well, good call, Paul Radicic. That's clearly what happened. I mean, Jim Richards is not the kind to make a mistake like that. Audi safety car now coming out onto the circuit. That, I guess, has got to be because of the incident between Peter Fitzgerald at the end of the front straight here. So that will bunch things up. Kevin Bell and Paul Pedersen. The Kiwis really well positioned. And, of course, the Greg Murphy Racing team looking for their first race victory or round victory of the season, and Tim Lay in a great position to try and achieve that.
Yeah, and I put some money on Kevin Bell. He's, you know, the second race he come right through to top 7 position, and he's going very, very well. But this is also great news for Jim Richards. Close the gap up, and we'll see Jim starting to make progress through the back of the field.
Damage to the left front of the Morgan and Banks entry. Audi safety car on track, and And hopefully we will get a restart on the other side of the break as Jeff Morgan looks on, a spectator in round 4. More in a moment. We're back at Hidden Valley. Word from race control is the safety car will peel off this time around and will recommence racing in the final race, round 4 of the Carrera Cup. We understand during the break that Tim Lay has developed some kind of electrical problem, maybe in the ECU, Paul Radicic, so this is not good news for our race leader.
No, if he's, by the sound of it, Tim's just picked up a small misfire, and of course that's not going to help for straight line speed, as we've just seen him dropping back, starting to drop back through the field.
He's trying desperately to hang on, the 27-year-old from Orange.
Can you believe this car of all times to do it?
Well, he's pretty fired up too, as you can imagine. Tim Lay looking at his first round win in the Carrera Cup, and he's just had to look on as Kevin Bell came flying past. Paul Pedersen was up there. Now Marcus Marshall, who started this race from the back of the grid, has done a fantastic job to work himself up to 3rd.
Yeah, that's just awesome. I mean, poor Tim having that problem of dropping through, but he's done a great job coming right up to 3rd spot there.
Got a brief glimpse a moment ago of the 7-time Bathurst winner, Jimmy Richards. He has the lights on at the back of the grid. Marshall runs wide, little too enthusiastic around that part of the track, Paul.
He was really lucky to save that, because there's just no room for error up on that turn.
Here's Jim, and also Peter Fitzgerald. Very experienced competitors. Fitzgerald is at the tail of that group of 4. Greg Keane and Scott Shearman are in the middle, and so too is Chris Seidler as they come across the start-finish line. Jim on a mission, a points mission to hang on to the series lead in the Carrera Cup. Gets by Jonathan Webb, now zeroes in on Dean Cook.
The engine light's coming on and starting out again. Just keep pressing on as best you can. You need to finish this.
Now that is engineer Ross Holder talking to Tim Lay, so they're telling him to press on, but it's obviously some electrical problem which is plaguing the Mossimo Porsche.
Yeah, it is, and you know he's way down on horsepower, and he's got all the red lights on, and you know to concentrate on that, and just you can hear the engine misfiring and popping. He's just got to try and get it home and think of the bigger picture rather than you know losing today's race.
Heartbreak for Lay. He was looking at his first race victory for the Greg Murphy Racing team. Marshall has enjoyed that at the last round at Winton and hungry to return to the top of the podium, but we could have a completely new visitor at the end of this one.
I don't know what's going on there. We just keep pressing on. 6 laps to go.
Well, you can hear the frustration in Tim Lay's voice that he's conveying to the pits, and he's under absolute siege here from Marcus Marshall. The person I was talking about that may be the freshest face to the top of the podium is Kevin Bell, who's doing a fantastic job. Marshall, what about the aggression in the VIP Pet Foods Porsche? And resisting it very, very well under difficult and trying circumstances is Tim Lay. Here's Jim Richards. He's up in behind Dean Grant now. Richards actually looks after the preparation of that car in between rounds.
Unfortunately for Jim, the races are just not going to be long enough in this particular one to get right up the front. But you know he's well aware of the advantage that he's got with the tail enders, and he's just trying to score as many points as he can for today.
James Dutton gets squeezed as Richards comes through. There's Fitzgerald, another driver on a mission. Tony Quinn in the mix there as well. So too is Rodney Jane and Jonathan Webb. As we go on board with Kevin Bell, what a fantastic sight. That's the sight any driver looks forward to, Paul, being the race leader and having clear track out in front.
Yeah, there's no better sight than that, and you know Kevin's done a great job to get up there. Sure, he's been able to take advantage of other people's problems, but you know he's driven superbly, and let's hope he can keep it together for the remaining laps.
Matthew Coleman, Paul Pedersen, they're ahead of Jimmy Richards now. All these cars running on Michelin control tyres. They run Fuchs control oil. Every car has a number of measures on it designed to get back to driverability and set up. And Richards, his knowledge of these cars and his fantastic ability that has taken him to 7 victories at Bathurst, now coming to the 4 as he tries to pass Matthew Coleman. Good lap time, a 1:11.3. That's not far off his qualifying pace. Tim Lay gets a little untidy. on the way home. Kevin Bell looking at his first race win. We've done the mathematics, and if Lay can manage to hang on to this spot and keep Marshall at bay, he will take the round win. So there is some, I guess, consolation. Whilst he won't win the race, he may take the round.
Well, let's hope he can keep it all together in these remaining last couple of corners. You know, he's had a tough day and he's just driving the wheels off this thing.
Final turn, and Kevin Bell comes onto the front straight. The International Motorsport team, Lyle Williamson, Paul Cruikshank and the crew have worked enormously hard for this, and Bell secures his first race win in the Carrera Cup for 2003. Lay will take the round. Great drive by Marshall, and what about this fight back from Jim Richards? Arguing with Coleman all the way to the line. Fantastic performance. There are the race and round winners respectively.
Good drive, mate, good drive.
And it started out, the team was saying it to him, it started out looking like a tough weekend for Kevin Bell. What a recovery, brilliant drive. Marshall gets up beside him to congratulate him on a job well done.
Kevin Bell, this is your life. What a performance. Great job on the restart.
Yeah, it was right up to me. Craig was saying, keep up him, so I was sort of giving a wee push across the line. So I knew if I lost him there, it'd be all over. So, yeah, fantastic, yeah.
And not only that, but you know, you actually started to put some good laps in and pull away.
Yeah, I think because Marcus and Tim were battling, I sort of gave me a little bit of breathing space and whatever, but I missed a gear coming on the second last lap, and I thought, oh, you silly bugger.
How good does it feel to take your first win in Carrera Cup?
Oh, fantastic. I mean, unfortunately, Jimmy jumped the start, so he got the black flag, so but it was sort of gifted to me a little bit, I suppose. But hey, a win's a win, mate. I'm absolutely wrapped.
Well, Tim, you must have thought all your Christmases come at once when Jimmy jumped the start, and gee, I thought it was going to be yours too, that race.
Oh, I thought it was too. I thought I had it in the bag, and then on the restart, we've had this miss when it's been really hot, and of course on the restart it happened twice, so I was just bogged down and everyone's passed me. So I just met, and it did it a couple of times after that, so we just sort of hung in there, and I thought I might be able to catch Kev, but the thing was boiling its head off. It was hot, and it was just settle for second, mate. Would have been a win in the taking, but just missed it.
Yeah, bittersweet for Tim Lay, but he still can be happy at taking out the round victory, and the Trans-Tasman rivalry reaches new heights with Kevin Bell taking his first race win. 63 points the margin now in the championship. Jim Richards over Marcus Marshall. Peter Fitzgerald, a good job to fight for points, and Lay is fourth. Grant?